Hello everyone. In this latest video by Africa Rebound, we take a bird's-eye view of the global economy, with specific emphasis on the regional or continental economic disparity. The International Monetary Fund projects a global GDP growth rate of 3.3% for 2025, a slight increase from the pace observed in 2024. In terms of absolute figures, the world economy's total GDP is estimated at $115 trillion. At the national level, the United States continues to lead as the world's largest economy, with a GDP of $30.3 trillion. China follows as the second largest economy, with a GDP of around $19.5 trillion. These two economic giants, the United States and China, account for a significant 43% of the global economic output. It's important to note, unfortunately, that while the global economy shows steady growth, regional disparities and sector-specific challenges persist, with widening gaps in economic prosperity and poverty levels across the regions and continents of the world. Ongoing geopolitical tensions, protective trade policies and tariffs, widening technology gaps and other factors continue to influence economic dynamics across continents. So let's examine the economic size and ranking of the world's 6 continents in a countdown format from the least to the biggest continent by GDP. The continent starting at number 6 is Oceania, with a GDP of approximately $1.9 trillion, accounting for about 1.9% of the world's economy. Dominating the region, Australia contributes significantly with a GDP of around $1.8 trillion. With a GDP of approximately $260 billion, New Zealand stands as the second largest economy in Oceania. Contributing around $31 billion to the regional GDP, Papua New Guinea ranks third. The continent coming up next at number 5 is Africa, with estimated GDP at roughly $3.1 trillion, representing about 2.5% of the global economy. Africa's top economies include South Africa, leading the continent with a GDP of approximately $418 billion. Following closely is Egypt, with a GDP of around $380 billion. Ranking third is Algeria, with a GDP of about $264.8 billion. These numbers reflect the dynamic nature of Africa's economic landscape, with shifts influenced by various factors including commodity prices, political stability, and investment flows. The continent at number 4 is South America, with a GDP of approximately $4.3 trillion, making up about 3.8% of the world's total GDP. As the largest economy in South America, Brazil's GDP stands at around $2.3 trillion. Argentina ranks second, with a GDP of approximately $574 billion. Contributing about $419 billion is Colombia in the third spot, in South America. Next continent at number 3 is Europe, the continent in which industrialization commenced in the 18th century. Europe's economy is substantial, with a GDP of approximately $24.6 trillion, accounting for about 24.6% of the global economy. Leading Europe is Germany, with a GDP of around $4.9 trillion. The United Kingdom ranks second within Europe, with a GDP of approximately $3.7 trillion. Contributing about $3.2 trillion is France in the third position in Europe. The continent in second position is North America, which boasts a GDP of approximately $30.9 trillion, representing about 30.9% of the world's economy. The United States dominate this continent, with a GDP of approximately $30.3 trillion. Canada, with a GDP of around $2.3 trillion, ranks second. Mexico, contributing about $1.8 trillion, holds the third spot in North America. In prime position at number 1, and the biggest continent by GDP, is Asia, which leads the global economy with a GDP of approximately $40 trillion, accounting for about 35.4% of the world's total GDP. China, as the largest economy in Asia, has a GDP of around $19.5 trillion. Japan, with a GDP of approximately $4.3 trillion, ranks second. India, contributing about $4.2 trillion, holds the third position in Asia. While traditionally considered part of Asia, if the Middle East is treated as a separate region, its GDP is approximately $3.53 trillion. Leading the Middle East, Saudi Arabia's GDP is around $1.1 trillion. The United Arab Emirates, with a GDP of approximately $568 billion, ranks second. Israel, contributing about $550 billion, holds the third spot. These numbers highlight the continental economic diversity and the leading nations within each continent. The rising economic size of the Asian continent in the last few decades, and Africa's economic insignificance relative to Asia, North America, and Europe are noteworthy, and should be food for thought for African leaders and citizens. Enough said. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, please share to spread the insights. And if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing for similar economic development insights.